So Steve Borthwick has announced his training squad, his first training squad for the November internationals. They're coming up very quickly, so he's definitely going to be picking players he thinks are going to be in serious contention. And for me, the headline is he's pretty much sticking with what he knows, going for continuity from the summer, from the Six Nations, which is fair enough. It's not particularly exciting as in lots of new players in there, but I understand the thinking, although I'm a little disappointed that maybe there's not a few more new faces in there. I've literally dropped a video on the players that have been looking really good in the first 2 rounds of the Premiership, but yeah, he's pretty much going with what he's stuck with. So for example, players like Slightholme, Roebuck, the wingers, they've done okay in the first couple of rounds of the Premiership, but not stood out. There's others that have been better. Same when you look into the front row, the props of Cole and Marler haven't really done anything this season. I don't think Marler's even played, but they're still in. We know they're very solid, they're very experienced. A player that is in is Trevor Davison, who we know is a really good scrummager, someone who I've been asking for in the squad in the past, although we've seen a couple of really exciting young tight heads coming into the game. One who I think absolutely should have been in this squad, that is Asher Apoko-Fajor. I think he's ready. I know the danger of rushing young props in can be quite high, but I think he's 100% ready. So that's a bit of a shame as well. And then in the hooking stakes, unless Curtis Langdon's picked up some mystery injury, which I don't think he has, Cowan-Dickie over Langdon, don't see that. Cowan-Dickie's been solid, he's experienced, but it is quite a conservative choice. In fact, I think it's quite a poor choice actually over Langdon. Let's just say it how I think it is. The back row, again, there's some players there I'd love to see. And I mean, Ted Hill, what more does he need to do? Greg Fizzle-out, I like a lot. You know, he's more of an 8, I guess. But Ted Hill, I guess you've got Chandler Cunningham South. I guess you've got Roots in there as the 2 6s. But there's got to be a place for Hill. Alfie Barbery's going to be very unlucky as well. Again, we don't see Zach Mercer. Another sign that he's probably not in his thoughts, that's for sure. So it's a balanced squad. It's a settled squad. Not really there for experience. It looks to be they're going for the wins, building on what they've done before, which I understand, but still a couple of things I'd like to see different. So looking at the front rowers, the change there, Trevor Davison at tight head and Ellis Genge back fit, that definitely helps. Finn Baxter is going from strength to strength. So I'm kind of hopeful there, although we do need to develop that talent, and what a chance we've missed there with Apoko-Fajor. The second rows are the 4 second rows that Borthwick would want. They are clearly the 4 best second rows, I think, in England. Maybe Chunyamunga's pretty close, but these guys, Chesham, who seems to be back from a concussion, Alex Coles, Maritoje, George Martin, I think clearly the best 4, so that is good news. They're going to need all of those in this tough November series. Then in the back row, Chandler Cunningham South has started with a bang in the Premiership, although we've talked about his ball retention needs to improve. Ben Earl looks in great form. Pearson is an absolute monster, so great to see him in there. There's some injuries. There's an injury list on the bottom of this email there was, and the Currys are both on it, so they're clearly being considered. I mean, that's a list you kind of half want to be on if you're injured to say you're being considered, but Pearson, really good chance for him. Roots he's solid, he's tough, he won't let you down. Is he going to win World Cups? I'm not sure. Who else should have been picked? Well, I think probably Ted Hill over Roots. Sounds tough because Roots is always a 7 out of 10, but I think you've got to go for the special there. Underhill looks back fit, although he's not played for Bath yet, so again showing that he's going with players that he knows. Could have gone Guy Pepper maybe, who is fit and playing. So that is just going with players you know are going to give you good performances. And one of the guys that I did want to see in the squad is there, and that is Tom Willis. His form has been fantastic in the first 2 rounds. He was decent last season, so let's see if he can make a charge. At number 8, we've got Don Brandt injured. We've got a couple other players not selected like Barbery, like Zach Mercer. So that's a big plus for Tom Willis. Excited to see him go. Into the backs, the 3 9s there. Randall, Spencer, Van Poortvliet and Mitchell is still struggling with some mystery neck problem. So hopefully that clears up and he will be back in when he is fit. Who drops out? I would guess Van Poortvliet or Randall. But Spencer didn't have a great summer either. He looks great when he's controlling a game in the Premiership. Hasn't really done it for England recently. No Will Porter, that's a bit of a shame. But yeah, Randall, Spencer, Poortvliet on the form we've seen so far, I think is absolutely fair enough. And just 2 fly halves, but I'm sure George Ford is hopefully going to be added if he is fit. So Finn Smith and Marcus Smith, no one else is really challenging. In the centres, sticking again with what he knows, Dingwall, is reliable. Is he a massive game breaker? Not so sure. Lawrence is going to be playing at 12, although he's a 13, so not going for any of the 12s we've seen so far. Will Butt, Lennox Anianwu, sticking with what he knows, which I'm not too happy with, but I understand it. And 13's a little sparse. Slade was the man, but he's had an operation. Probably would have been Northmore, but he's injured. So Beard gets a chance, and Lazowski a recall. He's been playing really well in the first 2 rounds for sure. Again, is he the future? I'm not sure. Has he got that searing outside break? I'm not sure. I guess Daly could play there as well, but I imagine it's going to be Lawrence and maybe Beard or Dingwall and Lawrence. That's a tricky one. Would have liked to have seen a couple of different centres in there. And then into the back 3, assuming Daly's going as a back 3 because that's where he normally plays. Do you need Daly? I know he's been playing well. He's got great skills, but could that have been a place for a younger player? Because Freeman, Furbank, they're both very versatile. So again, playing well, going with what he knows. Not particularly exciting, I guess. Not particularly bold, but okay. Fewabusu has been picking up where he's left off, scores tries for fun, gets involved. Great stuff. Freeman hasn't played a lot so far, but looks strong, looks fit, which is fine. Furbank's looked $1 million already, such a big player for England. The other 15 looks to be Freddie Stewart, which is a bit odd because he's a completely different type of player to George Furbank. And again, this new Dupont rule, which I mentioned before, doesn't really suit him because it suits a super fast counter-attacking fullback. So could you have gone for, say, a Josh Hodge? That would have been a bit more exciting. I think there was room in the squad for that. So not sure on that one. And then we've got Roebuck and Slightholme, because they were there for the summer, haven't started too fast so far. Slightholme's been looking a little off, but hopefully that's nothing. And the form guys, maybe Ibatoye, maybe Elliott could have got in there, but going with what they know. So fair enough. We've got Slade there rehabbing, Dombrandt rehabbing, Northmore rehabbing, and the ones not considered is quite good to be named because it means you're in consideration of Thokanasiga, the Curry brothers, Ford, Mitchell, Will Muir named, that's interesting, Ajomo, he'll be happy to be named there, Quirk and Bevan Rod. So it's a very solid squad, it's building on what they've done. It's going to go pretty well. It's got a chance of winning, but maybe just a few missed opportunities. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours down below. Do like, do subscribe. That would be awesome. And I'll catch you next time.